Welcome to a special edition of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. I'm your host, Noah Love, and tonight or this morning, we will be talking about day one of the NCAA tournament. Some brackets have been busted, which means upsets have happened, and there have been some semi surprising results. Let's just get straight into it. The first game that we that started off the day. It was a great 8-9 matchup. It was between the Creighton Blue Jays and the Louisville Cardinals. Creighton, the 9 seed, beats Kentucky. Or Kentucky. The game was played in Kentucky, Lexington, but they beat Louisville. Look, Creighton in this game, they won because A, they couldn't miss a shot, and C, there had to have been a third guy to really give them a boost. Jemiah Neal was fantastic. Remember, this is a squad that when Pop Isaacs went down early in the season, that a lot of people thought was cooked. Greg McDermott has done a great job riding the ship, and they're going on to the round of 32. Louisville's had a fantastic season, brought Louisville back, obviously, but today I don't think they were bad. It's just you get Rain Smith gets an injury, you it gets to points where it looks like you can't buy a three, and Creighton's hitting everything, and it's just you couldn't get a stop. Like I thought, Chuck. I don't think Chucky Hepburn played bad, but the key was they didn't shoot great. They shot what? Louisville shot here 43%, and 28% from three. Not gonna get done. Meanwhile, Creighton shot 57% and 46% from three. I thought in the second half that Louisville did a really good job of just keeping them off the glass, but they were down too much. They were down too much. Creighton, they got on the glass in the first half. Coke Brenner was a factor. Um, you're gonna think the best player on Jemiah Neal was the best player on the court, but and then you're gonna think the second best player on the court was Ashworth. I think it was Coke Brenner. Look, the way he affects the game, just how big of a body he is in terms of screening, rolling, he draws attention, and then on the defensive end, he just patrols the lane. Creighton, Greg McDermott did a great job in this game. This was a tricky game, I thought, coming into it. Creighton left no doubt. Louisville, it's unfortunate that they were seated at 8, and it's unfortunate that they lost the game. I'm gonna try to get through these games quick because we got another long one tomorrow. It's fun. Creighton advances to take on, well, Auburn. You knew Auburn was going to win. They won 83-63. Not much here. Now, there was a bit of a scare early. Not much here. There was a bit of a scare. Uh, it was 32-31. Alabama State was going to the line for a 1-1. If he makes it, tie. If he makes the other one for the lead, missed it. Auburn never looked back. Dominated right after that. Auburn, man, they got to play better, or else they'll lose to Creighton. Got to play better. Thought they were a little lax days ago. Thought they weren't taking the greatest shots. Free throws today, man, were an issue. They're 18 for 32 at the line, 56% against Creighton. That'll get you beat. Against Creighton, that gets you beat. Outside of that, I thought Auburn was dominant. They were good in the pick and roll. Miles Kelly had had a game. He had 7 threes. Look, he is going to be the X factor. Janai Broom didn't have to do too much. He had 14 and 11. Is what it is. They play on Saturday against Creighton. Don't know the times, but yeah, Chad Baker Mazzara didn't have the greatest shooting game as well, but he affects the game in other areas. But this was not their best game. They know it. They're gonna have to play much, much better if they want to advance to the Sweet 16. We know that. The other game that was on during this time, it was Purdue versus High Point. Purdue, and I'm going by region. Purdue beats High Point to advance to the round of 32. High Point we came in really good team. I thought Purdue did a fantastic job of really just getting on the glass, and just the offensive rebounds. They had 19 of them. Purdue is not a team that you usually see getting on the glass like that, but today they had the height advantage. Look, Cam Heide was an X factor in today's game off the bench. He gave them a double-double, 11 points, 10 minutes. 10 minutes, 11 points, 10 rebounds in 31 minutes. Again, when you out rebound a team by 21 rebounds, it's rare that you lose that game. Braden Smith didn't have the greatest shooting night, but they got whatever they wanted. Look, there was a couple points here where I thought High Point, they had gotten it to like 3 or 4, and you're thinking, oh no. But Purdue, they were able to ride the ship, but they got to get more. I mean, even if you just look at the box score here, Braden Smith at 20, did his thing. Kaufman ran at 21. But then after that, Lawyer, bro, 8 points, 1 of 4. Yes, you got to the line. After that, CJ Cox, 2 points. First 2 points. I mean, they don't have a third guy, which really I think if they had one, they could be a Final Four contender, but they don't have that. Purdue this year has struggled with physicality in the switching defense. I thought today they just had the size advantage in getting the offensive rebounds. They're gonna have to be better on first shots, but they will be taking on. This is the stunner of the day, McNeese. McNeese stuns Clemson 69-67. Now, a lot of people will think 69-67, this must have been close. In essence, it sort of was. At the end, it really wasn't. Look, McNeese held Clemson was playing some of the most disgusting basketball I've ever seen. They got some threes off late, got some free throws, got them in it. They struggled. The switching defense by McNeese crucial. Now McNeese struggled with free throws. They know that McNeese wasn't great offensively. Like it wasn't like this outstanding offensive masterclass. They guarded. They just guarded against Clemson. They shut Clemson down. That's what they did. Shut them down. Will Wade, he took the NC State job. By the way, just a little side note, Tucker DeVries to Indiana. We'll talk about that a little bit when we have time. But, man, McNeese, look, in the NCAA tournament, you will win games 2 ways. At least shot making or guarding. They guarded today. Look, the 54 points at the end, those were some tough threes they made. I mean, what are you going to do? But they didn't play the whole 40 minutes. It was a complete domination. The last, I would say, the for 33 and a half, 34 minutes, they dominated this basketball game. And that's why McNeese is advancing. Now, McNeese, look, they play Purdue. McNeese can absolutely be Purdue because McNeese guards, they get on the glass. They're good and they switch everything pretty much, and they're physical. So that will be a tough matchup. But McNeese is the first ever NCAA tournament uh, win. Look, Will Wade's leaving the place better than how he found it. So that's good. That's great for McNeese and Will Wade. You gotta love it. This is March. This is the stories. This is what it's all about. Clemson, you have to be disappointed. You gave Brunell the extension. They play back. I'm gonna just tell you, Ian Shefflin gave them nothing. You can't. You're one of their best options. You're their second best option, or it's a 1A 1B. You cannot have a point in the NCAA. You just can't have a point. Chase Hunter tried to will him, and Jaden Zachary gave him something, but you cannot have a point. You just cannot do that. By the way, that tech they give to Victor Lake and they ended up fouling him out. Ridiculous. It's the NCAA tournament. Things get chippy. That was ridiculous. But it's not why Clemson lost, obviously. So Clemson is out. ACC's having a rough day. Tomorrow Duke plays. Hopefully I'll save them. The other game that was on at this time. I'll just get this one out the way. Houston, look, they dominate SIU, Edwardsville, whatever. 78-40. They defended. They did whatever they wanted. Not much to talk about there. Wisconsin beats Montana 85-66. They pulled away at the end. Look, Wisconsin and BYU. Spoiler, they beat VCU. That game is going to be incredible because of the way both teams get up and down. Now they didn't particularly shoot great from three today. Like they weren't going to be smoking. They usually make double digit threes. They only made 7, but they didn't need it. They still score 85 points, which tells you everything you need to know. Max Klesmit did not have the game he had was did not really have the game you'd want him to have in terms of everybody else. I mean, just efficient. I mean, Tanjay was efficient. Blackwell was really efficient. I thought Stephen Crow, when he did some work from three, did some work in the lane as well. And then they started Winter. I just felt like Wisconsin today was efficient. And they faced a Montana team who brought it to them. Like Montana played decent. It's just it got away from them late. They couldn't catch back up. So Wisconsin's gonna advance in the East region to take on BYU. BYU beat VCU 80-71. In terms of this game, it was close, but then VCU went on a big run. They got up 16 and they never let go. They kept that lead. Look, VCU, the way they want to play, they want to slow you down. They actually shot. I mean, when you make 15 threes in a game, VCU, you usually win. Obviously didn't happen today. They want to muck the game up. And they want to slow it down a little bit. BYU was not having any of that. BYU. Now they missed some shots. Richie Saunders, 1 of 6 from three, not great, but they hit timely threes. I thought they were great in their offense. Now the one thing that they didn't do, look, they rebounded, but they probably didn't rebound as well as you would like them to. I mean, VCU got 12 offensive rebounds. What are you going to do about that? In the next game, it'll be interesting to see because these are two contrasting styles. Threes are going to be going up. Threes are going to be going up. Like, we know that. It'll be interesting to see the matchup. I don't know who. I think it would be Richie Saunders and maybe Tanjay, or Richie Saunders and yeah, I would say Richie Saunders potentially and Tanjay. It'll be an interesting matchup. But look, BYU, they shoot usually take and make a ton of threes. They've been one of the hottest teams in the country. So is Wisconsin. This game's gonna be like 90, 85, unless both teams just can't hit anything. Get your popcorn ready. You're gonna love this game. This is gonna be one of the elite games of the second round, man. I'm telling you, it is going to be so good. Buckle up. Buckle up. Another game that was on in the early window. Gonzaga handled business against Georgia. Look, Gonzaga should not have been 8 seed. This was not fair to Georgia. From the jump, when they got up 10-0, and then it was 27-3 at a point, you knew it was over. Gonzaga, like Georgia played better in the second half, but there was at no point did you feel like Gonzaga was ever in danger. You didn't feel like that. Khalif Battle played great. He had 24 points. I thought Ryan Nimhard did a great job of controlling the pace in this game. Now he can't have 5 turnovers. If he has 5 turnovers against Houston, oh, buddy. Gonzaga's been the 8th straight Sweet 16s. It's going to feel like an Elite Eight game with Gonzaga and Houston on Saturday evening or Saturday night. That's going to be an elite level basketball game. Gonzaga, their bigs, I thought was really good. Huff and EK, they're going to have a tough task on their hand with Houston's bigs. They really are. They're going to have a tough task there. I also think that, the guard play, the Ryan Nimhard versus LJ Cryer will be the matchup I'm looking at. Who wins that matchup? And Houston guards, man, I mean, they get up after you. It is relentless. 40 minutes, guard, rebound, balls to the wall. But they're facing a national title caliber team in round 2. Gonzaga can absolutely beat Houston. Now, I'm going to favor Houston in this matchup because I think Houston is just a little bit better. I think this game may be played in the 60s. And Gonzaga's defense is the real, I think, trend. That's been trending upwards too. So I think it'll get to some points where it'll be just grinded out. Who's more patient on offense? Because that first action, whatever you run, that first action against Houston will not be there. They will take away your first action. They will make you work. If you're Gonzaga, they're gonna make you work. They're gonna done. There may be times where they deny Ryan Nimhard the ball out there. Because they know he's the floor general. Now the one thing both teams have, Cryer and Battle can really go off the dribble and get you a bucket. So it'll be interesting to see that. But they're not gonna be like Gonzaga shot 60% from three. They're not shooting 60% for. If they shoot 60% for three against Houston, they gonna win. But I don't think they're doing that. It is going to be real physical, going to muck it up, and we'll see. Look, Houston has had some classic round of 32 games. This could be another one in the making. Winner advances in the Midwest region to face the winner of Purdue and McNeese. Sign me up. Here we go. The other, now we're kind of in the later window. They kicked off the later window. Tennessee beat Wofford. Tennessee, there were times in this game where Wofford tried to come into the lead, they cut into the lead, and you're thinking, here comes Wofford, but Chaz Lanier said, no, we're shutting all that down. Chaz Lanier, they ran a lot of pin down action to get, or curling around the curl action. He hit 6 threes. One of the best shooters in the country. Outside of that, there's not really much to say. Chaz Lanier single-handedly beat Wofford. I mean, I thought defensively they were good. Now, could they have rebounded a little bit better? Yeah. I think being even on the boards with Wofford, that's not great. Could Okpara and Milicic have played better? Yeah. But I thought Ziegler, 12 points, 12 assists, really good. Again, great defensively. Floor general, Wofford. I mean, they rely on the 3-point. They were 11-26. I mean, Wofford's a terrific shooting team, so they were going to hit some threes in this game. I think you knew that. But you limited them going to the line while you went to the line a bunch. You hit 10 threes as well, 6 by Chaz Lanier. So, yeah, I thought Tennessee did a really great job of just handling their business in this game and not really giving Wofford any life. Because again, if you give one of these lower seeds life, you're probably going to see it. Well, today, give some of these lower seeds life, it's trouble. It is indeed trouble. Tennessee will be facing in the round of 32 UCLA. Look, I'm a big fan of Mountain West basketball, but you can't have these stinkers. I mean, they gave you respect last year. I fought for 6 teams. They got 6 teams. San Diego State got killed in the first 4 by UNC. And then Utah State, you come out and you do this. And UCLA is really good, but like, come on. It wasn't competitive. UCLA just clamped them. That's what happened. UCLA clamped them. Mick Cronin, you know UCLA teams are going to defend. That's what it was. They're going to go on to take on Tennessee. But if you're Utah State, you cannot have these. Or if you're the Mountain West, you can't have these outings. Look, Ian Martinez, 1 of 11. Not great. I mean, they just 431 from 3. I mean, come on. You hold a team to 47 points in the NCAA tournament game. If you're at least scoring competent on offense, you're most likely going to win. Now, UCLA advances to take on Tennessee. That's going to be a physical basketball game as well. Those two teams grind. UCLA wants to grind you, man. I mean, they're not this offensive team that's just going to put up a lot of threes, score 90, score 100. That game be about the 60s. Tennessee plays a similar way too. They're a little bit better offensively. I favor Tennessee because the difference is Chaz Lanier. He reminds me a lot of Dalton Connect last year. When you just have tough shot makers, it just no matter what the defense does, hand in the face, and he makes it, it kind of demoralizes that other team. I like Tennessee's guards over UCLA's guards. Now, the thing that will be interesting, will UCLA get on the glass? To me, they're going to have to out rebound Tennessee. You cannot give Tennessee second chances, attack the glass. You're going to, I wonder how much they play Mara and Bilodeau together, if at all, because that length at times can really just give you an issue. It can really just give you an issue. So we'll see. Look, UCLA, they're going to be a tough out. And I give them a good chance to win that basketball game against Tennessee. Tennessee's not unbeatable. I give them a great chance to win that basketball game. Now, for the game of the day, you can make an argument, or of the night, you can make that argument. Arkansas beats Kansas. Calipari beats Self. Unbelievable game. It was close throughout, back and forth. Arkansas pulls it out. There were coaching mistakes on both ends. I'm going to start with Arkansas. I'm going to start with the losing team. Kansas could have won this basketball game. Probably should have won this basketball game. But you put Hunter Dickinson back into the game when you're on that run. You had KJ Adams and Badunga. They were playing great. I think the lineup was Harris, Badunga, Adams, Mayo, and Store. I think that was the lineup. AJ Store played really well, by the way, coming off the bench. But that was the lineup. Dickinson was on the bench. You bring him back in, and you try to feed him. And first of all, it doesn't help when you're up and there's 3 straight turnovers. Like, you can't have that. That's not good. And I know Adams got hurt later on, but even then, I thought they should have played the 4 guards in Badunga. Dickinson was not playing well, and he just wasn't. Badunga was having a bigger impact on the basketball game. When they were in the zone, it was patrolling the paint, blocking shots. They were rebounding. I mean, number one, okay, Cal. When your team saw that zone, they looked like a deer in headlights. That zone almost lost them the game. And if Hunter Dickinson doesn't come back in the game, it's probably a loss for Arkansas. But Arkansas, their ability to ride the ship. John L. Davis hit the huge 3 to put him up 4. It was about a minute 40 to go. That was huge. That's really kind of what got them over the finish line. Kansas, this is their first loss in the round of 64 since I think they said it's 2006. 7 seed, not a good year for the Jayhawks. If you're Arkansas, you're on cloud 9 right now. You're back into the tournament and you won a tournament game. Arkansas, look, you can make the argument they were the better team for most of the game, but that zone, man, if you don't think Patino, spoiler alert, is going to run that zone, you're crazy. He's going to run that zone. Arkansas's got it, bro. Just get a guy in the middle, free throw line, because the reason that Arkansas was up in the first half against Kansas could not keep Arkansas guards in front of them. They just couldn't. Just couldn't. Could not keep Wagner in front of him. Couldn't keep Davis in front of him. Could not. By the way, Jonas Adu had 22, playing like he was at Tennessee a year ago. Really helped them tonight. But yeah, Arkansas, big win. Big win. And obviously now they have a date with the Red Storm. And we get Cal versus Patino in the round of 32, when you could have made the argument we may never see it again. What get it? St. John's, not a first half team, was only up 5. Second half, they came out and just romped over Omaha. They just did. Simple as that. St. John's did what they needed to do, mainly on the defensive end. Now look, they had 14 threes, which is an encouraging sign. That's great news. Bad news, they couldn't rebound. They gave up 24 offensive rebounds to Omaha. You give up 24 offensive rebounds to Arkansas, you're going to lose a game. You're going to lose a game. You cannot. They're going to have to box out against Arkansas. Arkansas is going to watch that tape, and he'll implore them to get on the glass. But other than that, I thought St. John's was fine. Their second half team, it is what it is. I thought R.J. Lewis played great early on. And then in the second half, they just exploded. Scored 50 points, defended like they were supposed to, and they won by 30. No big issues there. But there were a couple points where Omaha was playing, and I'm like, St. John's, you got to wake up here. You got to wake up here. Now, I guess you can make an argument for upset of the day, but this is the best story in college basketball. Not upset of the day, best story. Drake stuns Missouri by 10 in Wichita. This guy, Bennett Sturts, let me tell you, he was incredible with 21 points. I mean, he hit some big, timely shots. Drake in that second half did not play as well, I thought, as they did in the first half, but they kept their composure. Now, free throws, they shot 50% from the line. That almost lost them the game. But I thought and again, what did we talk about with McNeese? You win games, defend. They defended. Now, look, Missouri got to the line, and they hit 23 or 26. But 4-16 from 3 for a Missouri team that can really score it, and then 33% from the field. If you're Drake, you're watching this game, or you're not watching this game. If you're a Drake fan, you're looking back at this game like, couldn't be prouder. First round of 64 wins since I think it was 1971. Ben McCollum, program builder. Missouri, it's sad that the season ends like this for you guys. You had a great year. But if you're Drake, you're on cloud 9 right now. You're ecstatic. They played great, man. Obviously, you're gonna have to figure out the free throws, and they went 8 deep, and that's normally what they always do. But they got a good chance to knock off, spoiler alert, Texas Tech. Texas Tech in the last game of the night, they beat UNC Wilmington 80-72. UNC Wilmington, they were very game. They played well. I thought, now they did a good job of rebounding. They stayed even on the glass against Texas Tech, but Texas Tech, look, Their guards were just too good tonight. Look, Elijah Hawkins didn't have the greatest shooting game, but Kerwin Walton caught fire with 27. And again, in March, you just need different guys to contribute. The JT Toppin had a decent game, 12 and 11. Texas Tech is dangerous because they just have so many different guys that can contribute. And their guards can, again, go off the dribble and really score it. Drake, it's going to be interesting to see how they defend them. Will it be another like they Texas Tech scored 82. Drake, I think they're third in the country in opponent points per game. So that's gonna be a battle. Drake's gonna make you grind it out. And Drake, will you be patient? You saw it tonight against Missouri. Missouri, man, they took some bad shots at times. And Drake, they just stay composed in the game. But Texas Tech, I know UNC Wilmington is close in the second half, and you're thinking, is it going to be upset alert? But no, they pulled away. Texas Tech able to do that, and now they've got a date with the Bulldogs. Okay, it's getting a little late here, so just a quick Texas A&M beat Yale 80-71, and then they will go to take on, and this is last game of the night that we got. Went Michigan. Texas A&M and Michigan will play in the South region 68-65. They beat UC San Diego. I'm not going to lie. I was pulling for UC San Diego. I wanted that moment for them to get their first tournament win. They're 30, and they were coming in 30-4 on the year. They didn't get it. First half killed them. Even though, yes, they did come back to take the lead, the start of the game killed them, and they were playing catch up. But once they got the lead, Trey Donaldson took it right back, a real back and forth affair. Ty McGott didn't shoot it particularly well, but gave everything they had. But the size advantage that Michigan had, I mean, it was just too much. I mean, in Golden and Wolf just caused problems all night, but Wolf mainly on the glass. But I actually thought UC San Diego handled it better than I thought they would. Wolf was only 4 for 11 tonight, and he only had 9 points, so they did a nice job there. Michigan, I mean, they didn't get in the 80s. I mean, it was 68 points only. So I thought UC San Diego's defense in the second half turned it up, got stops, got on transitions. It's also helped that they hit some of their threes in the second half. Trey Donaldson hit timely shots, timely things, and then those 2 free throws at the end towards the end by Golden, a little bit early onions there. But Michigan goes to play a Texas A&M team. Texas A&M, they guard. Wade Taylor is great. They really attack the glass. That's gonna be, and they play just so hard. That's gonna be an interesting game because Michigan wants to get up and down the floor, shoot threes. They want to play through their big guys. Wolf, Golden. That game will be fun, and it will be interesting to see how Texas A&M handles them, how they're going to play them. All right, that is it for the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast special edition. Day 1 of the NCAA tournament is in the books. I've been your host, Noah Love. We will be back at it with a Friday night or / Saturday morning reaction to day 2 of the NCAA tournament. Half of the round of 32 is set. will the other half will be set tomorrow. All right. Enjoy the madness and see ya.